Welcome in, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you have been staying cool, staying calm, and staying collected. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra, and we are so excited to first bring you the next big thing. Take a look at this. This is what I'm tracking, and you already know it. If you guess hotter temperatures, you are exactly right, my friend. As we look at the next several days, we're going to see rising temperatures in our forecast, especially as we approach that Father's Day weekend. So fathers, if you've been asking for hotter temps, well, you got it. Here's a look at those temperatures over the next several days. Wednesday, we're going to see more of those upper 80s, lower 90s. We'll start to see more lower 90s in our forecast by Thursday, but definitely by Friday, Saturday, and Father's Day on Sunday, we could be seeing those temperatures and rising up, and we're expecting them to be in the mid to upper 90s. So hotter conditions on the horizon. As we look at those feel-like temperatures, this is what really matters to you, because this is not just the temperature of the air. This is how it feels when you step outside. So as we track the heat here, we bring in your Wednesday afternoon, 4 p.m., seeing those feel-like temperatures pretty similar to what the actual air temperature is going to be. We mentioned Wednesday, upper 80s, low 90s, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Around 89 for a heat index value in Etowah County, around 94 for a heat index value in Tuscaloosa. So we're talking more feel-like temperatures tomorrow afternoon in the upper 80s, lower 90s. But then by Thursday, notice how those temperatures crank up a bit, especially for some counties like Tuscaloosa, Fayette, Pickens County, even Walker County there. You're going to easily see those feel-like temperatures and those heat index values feeling like the upper 90s, if not close to triple digits. One of the hottest spots Thursday afternoon could easily be Tuscaloosa County. So get ready if you are in West Alabama. Now, by Friday afternoon, that doesn't really count for us because it's only going to get hotter from there. That was showing 1 o'clock. What you got to pay attention to are those feel-like temperatures later in the afternoon when we reach that daytime high. Our next rain chance also brings us the next big thing. We're not only tracking heat, we are also tracking maybe an isolated shower or storm around for your Father's Day. And this looks more likely for the evening on your Sunday. So no need to cancel plans. Just take it easy. Check in for forecast updates in the days ahead. I'm not seeing any signs of a washout, and the greatest rain chance really looks to stay south of I-20 across central Alabama. So I think we'll be in good shape for any weekend plans, especially if you have plans to be outdoors. We'll continue to see a more unsettled pattern in our forecast for early next week as well. Maybe a few showers, an isolated storm can't be ruled out as we bring in next Monday. Here is a look at what I'm tracking and what's next as we break down the next big thing. Number one, a first alert for our air quality in effect for Jefferson and Shelby County for Wednesday. We'll talk more about that. Plus, we have 90s in the forecast tomorrow and those upper 90s by the weekend, with that minimal rain chance for Father's Day on Sunday. We are going to continue to give you guys updates on that forecast right here on First Alert Weather Extra. But let's talk more about those temperatures, because as they begin to ramp up by the end of this week, we want to remind you it's important to drink water when you're spending time in the sun, and also that SPF, reapplying it multiple times. But it can be hard to get your kids to stay hydrated. Children are especially vulnerable to dehydration. It's important to know what to look for in your kids, including dizziness, sunken eyes, and crying with little or no tears. To get your kids to drink water, experts say it's important to make it fun. One way to do that is by getting a cool water bottle. Love cool water bottles, but you can also add fun things into the water.
One thing I love to do is when my berries have seen better days in the fridge, I'll mash them up and put them in ice cube trays. And so I'll use that as ice. And as that ice starts to melt, it makes that water more sweet.
Experts say to avoid sports drinks unless your child is really active in the heat, since food and water can replenish electrolytes without extra sugar. And we're still watching the tropics as we're just a few days away, really a few days in to hurricane season. Meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now with an update on the season's outlook.
Well, we got another update from Colorado State regarding the hurricane season. Of course, back in April, they had a forecast of 23 named storms, 11 of those becoming hurricanes. And out of those 11 hurricanes, they are forecasting 5 major hurricanes, which is showing a very active season, especially when you look at the average. Usually we'll see 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 majors. Well, they just put out a new update based on their observations, and there has been no change. They've kept the same numbers for this month and for the upcoming upcoming season with 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. Remember, a major hurricane is a Category 3 or greater. So this tells us numbers, doesn't tell us specifically when those storms will form and where they're going to hit. So the main key of this is going to be active. It only takes one storm to create a very bad hurricane season. So just want to be mindful of that. One huge reason why they are forecasting an active season along with NOAA is, well, the water temperatures are unusually warm for this time of the year. You need temperatures of 80 degrees or greater to support tropical systems, which of course develop over the open water. And as you can see, we got 80s all over the place and lots of red. So the season normally peaks September 10th, and normally it is very quiet in June and July. So if you're wondering, it's supposed to be active, where's the storms? Well, just wait, because normally it doesn't really pick up until after August, and it peaks in September 10th. So we've got a long ways to wait. Not only have to worry about those warm temperatures, I want to show you why those temperatures are so warm. So here's some content. So here's a scientific graph. I know it's a little complicated, but I'll walk you through it. But this is from the University of Miami. Brian McNulty releases this, and he's analyzing the ocean heat content in the tropical parts of the Atlantic. So you see this red box, this is what it's measuring. So parts of the Atlantic into the Caribbean. Well, for June 10th, this is where the temperatures are right now. And if you look at that, the blue line is where we should be. So we're way above average for this time of the year. In fact, temperatures in this region is similar to what we would expect in late August, when the season's usually getting to its peak. So that's very warm. What about the Caribbean? That's even warmer than that. Here's the look at the chart. This is where we should be in the blue line, so definitely should be a lot cooler than it is now. And we are looking at temperatures now in the Caribbean typical of early September. So it's only June, and that means those temperatures will continue to heat up. And when you get a lot of ocean content that's really hot, that could be very favorable. And also, we're looking at the wind dynamics too. We're looking at less wind shear because the La Nina is forming. And when you get less wind shear, that actually promotes more storms to develop. So a lot of things are not going our way when it comes to the forecast. But right now, we are monitoring one system out there. We've got an area of low pressure out in the eastern portions of the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to be a big rainmaker for parts of Florida as it pushes through the peninsula and into the Atlantic right off the coast of southeast United States. I think this is going to stay offshore. It's not going to impact us. It's not going to impact the Alabama Gulf Coast, and has a low chance to form over the next 5 to 7 days. We will note, though, we're going to continue to watch the Gulf of Mexico going into the weekend and into next week. Likely going to see more tropical moisture develop in the Gulf of Mexico, and depending on where it goes, that could influence the rain chances along the Alabama Gulf Coast, our area, or might even affect us, may end up farther to the west, impacting parts of Mexico and in Texas. But it's going to be a long season. We'll keep you updated on the forecast, and you can monitor the tropics as well through the WBRC First Alert weather app.
Well, thanks, Matt. I just thought I would let you guys know we had a little update to that tropical disturbance. It has a 10% chance to develop in the next 48 hours. But like Matt says, there's already heavy rain impacting parts of Florida right now, like the Orlando area and area south. So just be prepared. If you have any trips or things planned this week to head down to Florida, just keep that in mind. The good news is we're not going to see major impacts from that disturbance to the Gulf Coast, but there is a chance to see maybe a shower or a few storms around for the Gulf Coast this weekend. In 30 seconds, I'll actually be showing you that Gulf Coast forecast, plus an update on that code orange alert for Jefferson and Shelby County, right here on First Alert Weather Extra after the break. Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Feeling a little beachy? Do you want to head by the ocean? Maybe the Gulf Coast. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast down towards the beach. The good news is the Gulf Coast looks pretty nice for the rest of this week. Now, by the second half of the weekend on Sunday, there could be some more moisture around, producing showers and thunderstorms. Those temperatures, though, only a few degrees cooler Sunday, but pretty hot for most of this week. So if you're taking a trip down there, or if you are already down down there. Please bring some of that beachy weather up here. No, we've been great. The thing is, we're only getting hotter across central Alabama, and I gotta show you what those temperatures are looking like later in the work week in my full forecast in just a bit. But yesterday, Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt talked to us about how we can avoid poisonous reptiles this summer. And now he's back at the Birmingham Zoo to tell us more on how we can spot the difference between non-venomous and venomous reptiles.
Well, we're back at the Birmingham Zoo at the Reptile Building, joined again by Andy Scott. And Andy, we were talking about the copperhead snake. Well, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the rattlesnake, and not all rattlesnakes look like this, right?
Yeah, that's right. So Krispy Kreme is a little bit different. He's albino, so he's lacking some pigments there. So he's instead of having a orange or black stripe down his back, he has that yellow stripe down his back. And he's a lot paler, but it's the same kind of characteristics that we were talking about. So you kind of see his head's a lot more triangular shapes.
Yeah.
Another thing, rattlesnakes have rattles on their tails.
So you actually have some warning. It's kind of like thunder and lightning, right? So you listen out for the rattle. But the common look for a rattlesnake around here, I mean, what do folks need to look for? I know there's the eastern diamondback, but this is a timber rattler, correct? So there's a difference there, right?
Yeah, so eastern diamondbacks, they are found in Alabama, but it's usually more south, like south of Montgomery. So they are here, but they wouldn't be up this far north. And then a timber rattlesnake is going to have like those gray stripes down its back usually.
Okay.
And it kind of looks like a woodland camo pattern, and then they'll have that stripe down their back that's anywhere from brown to orange. And then, the shape of the head, but also that rattle is a great way to go, oh yes, you're obviously venomous. Nothing that is non-venomous doesn't have to rattle.
Well, some snakes, and you were talking about the copperheads, so many times I see folks posting pictures and it's a rat snake, and I know for some they can often be mistaken. Did I say mistaken?
Mistaken.
but what's the most common difference there? I mean, obviously with a rattlesnake, we know rattlesnake has rattles, but if it's a copperhead or any venomous snake, what is the main thing we need to look for with like a rat snake, since it's so common, the difference there?
Well, I mean, so I try to tell people to think like a scientist and see there's several characteristics. So the pupil shape, elliptical pupils for a venomous snake, rattles or not. Another good way to tell if they have bars on their lips, so like our native rat snakes and our native water snakes have bars up and down their lips. That's one way to tell a rat snake or a water snake.
I'm sorry, but water snake, that's different than a cottonmouth, right?
Yeah, you got it. We actually have a bunch here at the zoo. I saw 3 or 4 yesterday. Yeah, so water snakes are really common in the southeast. But they're a lot more colorful and they have a checkerboard pattern. So it's kind of easier to learn for sure what the venomous snakes are versus learning all of the 40, 50 species of snakes we have in Alabama. So learn those 5 or 6 and you'll do pretty well.
So are the rattles on a rattlesnake, does that go along with how old the snake is, kind of like tree rings? Just always been curious.
Yeah, so that's actually a common wives' tale. So as they grow, each time they shed their skin, they get a new section of their rattle, and those occasionally break off. Crispy, for example, you can't see his rattle at the moment, but his is broken off a couple of times, and we'll use them as biofacts to show people. So it's just each time they shed, and depending on the individual snake, how old they are, they might shed once a month, they might shed once a year. It just depends.
Miss Snakin', I like that. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We're actually going to continue to talk about tomorrow's code orange for Jefferson and Shelby County, that air quality alert, plus a full look at that 7-day forecast, then beyond the 7-day for potential wet weather. Stay tuned. First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back. Welcome back in, everyone. Time to give you that full 7-day forecast. Let's start with our First Alert Sky Vision camera. Brookwood Baptist Medical Center showing a few clouds, thin, low-level clouds across central Alabama, but still very beautiful. Temperatures in the low 80s. I love this camera because you just see all the green and it just gives all the summer vibes you could ever need. We got dew points low in the 50s and winds out of the north-northeast just around 7 miles per hour. But here is what is next. As we track the next couple of days, we're mainly tracking the heat. We're staying hot and dry for most of your week, but I do want to give you that first alert for an air quality alert in effect Wednesday for Jefferson and Shelby County. Most of us, though, are just going to be hot tomorrow with 90s. We're going to see more of those mid to upper 90s as we approach the weekend. But we do need to talk about the big story for our two counties. Let's help our friends out in Jefferson and Shelby County about this code orange that's in effect. This air quality means that the air quality is unhealthy for our sensitive groups of people, people that deal with asthma, our elders. You want to make sure you're avoiding any outdoor strenuous activities and take frequent breaks. So once again, that code orange means that it's unhealthy for those sensitive groups. But maybe you're not in Shelby County, maybe you're not in Jefferson County, and maybe you're not a sensitive group. How can you help? Number one, conserve electricity. Number two, limit driving and try to carpool if you can. And number three, refill those cars after 6 p.m. Here is a look at those dry conditions all across the area. Notice how we're not the only areas dealing with poor quality air. So are counties in Georgia and further to our west there. Looks like parts of Mississippi have some air quality alerts in effect. But temperatures for your Tuesday evening sitting in the 70s and low 80s, 82 in Tuscaloosa, 78 for my friends in Winston. We have winds from the north just about 5 to 10 miles per hour, a light breeze there. But not only is there a light breeze, there's also low dew points for all of us. This is really the big story, is that we're going to see dew points going up over the next couple of days. So please enjoy lower humidity levels with dew points in the 50s across the area for most counties. Some of us in the low 60s, like down in Greene and Perry there, with dew points at 62 degrees for my friends in Marion. Over the next couple of days, though, we get a little more stickier, and by Sunday, we're going to see more moisture building into our area. So enjoy those comfortable conditions for this evening. A reminder that that code orange is in effect for your Wednesday if you're in Jefferson and Shelby County through 5:30 p.m. But here's that 7-day forecast. We're staying hot and dry for your work week. We're staying dry really Saturday too, but Sunday we could see an isolated shower or storm south central Alabama. So just giving you that first alert, and more unsettled weather, but a few degrees cooler early next week. Now it's time to take you beyond the 7-day as we look 6 to 10 days out from now. Here's June 17th through June 21st. As we look across the U.S., the Pacific Northwest dealing with below average temperatures, but most of the U.S. going to be dealing with the heat, and that includes us right here across central Alabama. We are getting hotter, guys, as we head to the official start of summer, June 21st. Looking at our rainfall outlook, June 17th through June 21st, a mix across the U.S. Some areas more near average, like parts of California, Arizona, and Nevada there, but more above average for northern states and below average for the East Coast. But across central Alabama, well, we could be seeing more near average for most of our counties. But this comes as rising temperatures in the world's oceans and the impact on weather patterns due to climate change are continuing to be a bit of a concern. This brought activists together to organize a kayak fleet to advocate for more protections in southern Patagonia. Stefano Pozzebon reports.
Sometimes climate activism can be real fun. Last week, this group of kayakers from Argentina and Chile paddled up in the Beagle Channel to mark International Environment Day.
It's the third time we organized this regatta, and we want this to become a tradition. We want to demand better protection for our sea.
The Beagle Channel is a stretch of water cutting through the archipelago of the Tierra del Fuego at the bottom of South America. These waters are closer to Antarctica than to Buenos Aires, but global warming has arrived even here. In the last 20 years, the Southern Ocean has been warming up faster, on average, than the rest of the world's waters, experts have warned.
What's happening in the Southern Ocean is impacting the global oceans, and that's primarily linked through what we call the thermohaline circulation, or otherwise known as the ocean conveyor belt. And that's this long meandering pathway of water and heat through the global ocean.
Warmer water temperatures mean the ice sheets in Antarctica are melting faster, causing sea levels to rise and erosion. But some regions are more exposed than others.
What's counterintuitive is that as ice sheets melt and sea level rises, it does not rise level across the globe.
Increased melting in Western Antarctica, for example, can have a direct impact on higher water rises in the east coast of the United States. Higher temperatures in Tierra del Fuego have also impacted the growth of algae and the breeding of salmon, which in Chile represents the second largest export industry after copper. Argentina instead has banned salmon farming in a historic decision in 2021, part of a strategy to pursue a healthier relationship with the sea. Stefano Pozzebon, CNN, Bogotá.
I just love watching the scenery of that. It was so pretty and calming. But I hope you are enjoying First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back with a final check on your weather and a look at some of your gorgeous photos that you sent into the First Alert Weather app. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back in. It's time to show off your lovely photo. Starting off in Vance, Alabama, this beautiful picture from Glenn Smith. Oh, the most peaceful scene. Oh, but this one is good too, from Brandy Denard in Pinson, Alabama with Sunny Bear Farms. Love you, girl. And we have another photo as well. Lay Lake, Joy, Pardue. That is gorgeous. Oh my goodness, that's where I want to be. And then we have our last photo sent in from Samantha Hawkins, and her photo is from Logan Martin Lake. Take a look at how gorgeous that is. It looks like everybody's at the lake or just enjoying those sunsets or sunrises. That's where I want to be. Maybe I need to go peek outside and catch a nice view of the sunset. I hope you enjoyed watching First Alert Weather Extra. The only answer is you did enjoy it. We'll have more forecast updates tonight, first at 9. See you guys then. Have a wonderful evening. She's ready to take these shoes off because they hurt my feet. I'm ready. I don't even need the remote. What we got behind me? There we go. Is that 7-day behind me? Yeah, max 2. Yeah. Okay. Ready. In 3, 2. Well, happy Wednesday, everyone. First Alert meteorologist Tania Michelle here with that forecast. I want to say happy Wednesday because they're not going to see it till Wednesday, but I'm not even going to say that. Let's just scratch. Sorry. Date. Let's just not talk about the date. Bye, girl. Let's do it in, let me know when you're ready. Okay, let's do it in 3, 2. Hey there, everyone. First Alert meteorologist Tania Michelle here with that 7-day forecast. Story for the rest of your week, hot and dry and really only getting hotter. As you look at that 7-day, we'll see temperatures in the 90s over the next couple of days, mid to upper 90s by Friday and Saturday. Lots of sunshine, overnight temps in the 70s, upper 60s, low 70s. We could see an isolated shower or storm, mainly south central Alabama for your Sunday on Father's Day. Very minimal rain chances for now. You don't need to cancel any weekend plans. The big story is just that it's going to be hot. So you want to, 1, make sure you're staying hydrated. Number 2, wear sunscreen and reapply it. And then number 3, just take breaks if you're outdoors for long periods of time. As you look ahead to next week, we'll see temperatures in the lower 90s, but there's also a slight rain chance. So we could see a shower or storm early next week, but we'll continue to fine tune that rain and storm chance in your forecast on WBRC Fox 6 News.